Hey, so yesterday a young entrepreneur interviewed me. Basically, he wrote down 15 to 20 different questions that he had, and I basically answered them one by one in the order that made the most sense to kind of give him some pointers on, like, what's worked for me in my life and what are some different things that he can kind of do in terms of starting his business, the best career path, what are like the long-term implications, how to think about goals, and different things like that. Maybe you can utilize this as well to either do planning or just understand like the field, just understand just how businesses work in general. We talked about some key KPIs you need to be thinking, like what are some formulas you need to have in order to like predict your future income with your business. We talked about like what is an easy way to organize. We talked about like what's a pretty good simple marketing strategy. We also talked about some different aspects of how we help people inside of our mentorship program. So hopefully you find some immense value inside of this video. Also, if you want some help growing your business, like maybe you've been trying to grow your business, it's just not quite growing at the speed with which you want, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call with myself to see if I can help you inside of our mentorship program, see if it's a good fit for you. Okay? Talk to you in a minute. Enjoy the interview, and I'll talk to you soon. Also, keep in mind, the stuff that we spoke about should not be construed as financial advice. It's just what's worked for me, and we're just talking about what are my views on these things. But it's not financial advice.
You hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I was trying to join, but I'm currently in college right now, so I'm at my school campus trying to join the call.
That's okay. Yeah, man. Sometimes like Zoom just messes up, makes things like kind of tough. And how do you pronounce your name?
Makai,
Maki. Nice. That's a cool name.
nice to
Awesome,
meet
man.
you.
You as well, yeah. So why don't we do the call? Like first, we'll kind of see where you are next. I remember reading your form, so I kind of want to
Uh-huh.
see like where are you now, and like where do you want to go? Like what does that kind of look like, and see like to what degree can I help you?
Uh-huh.
Um, so I guess if you can kind of like expand, reiterate, I guess like what's kind of the biggest challenge you're facing right now?
Honestly, okay, so I'm 19 years old currently. I'm a finance major, obviously, you read that. Young black man in America, obviously, you understand that certainly. Where I'm trying to go with it, I don't want to necessarily be an accountant, but I'm trying to start early. So I've always been taught since a young age. I've done a bunch of different type of businesses, but I'm trying to expand my horizons just as far as learning in general and as far as the financial world. And I say that because obviously I'm a finance major, so there's a bunch of different steps to it. So I had internship with a company called IEX. It's like a middleman for a stock brokerage. It's like it trades and buys and sells stocks. So
Hmm.
with that being said, I want to kind of get into, like I said, other parts of the financial world. So in that, I've started to do my research on bookkeeping. So obviously, I know a little bit about it. I have actually, can I screen share on here?
Let's see, give me one sec.
Yeah, I think
Right
so.
now, yep.
So I basically started a roadmap. I watched. Can you see it or no?
I can see it says you are sharing your screen.
Okay, here I'm gonna go to my files. I watched a few of your videos. I probably watched anywhere from like 30 to 40 videos at this point. I kind of created like, okay, so let me kind of give you where I'm at right now. I'm at my base level. Like
Hmm.
I'm obviously learning a lot of knowledge. I understand the software and systems to use it. I understand some of the terminology. I'm trying to kind of take more notes and stuff like that. This is where I've started my business plan overall. So right here, if you obviously see, it's my bookkeeping roadmap. So I kind of put my first six key plans that I wanted to like kind of start off the focus on like base level. So obviously, identifying a special niche or industry to focus on to do particular bookkeeping. Obviously, bookkeeping is a wide variety of range. Like you can do it for any business, but obviously finding that kind of way to get your foot in the door and understand a particular lens to look through. So one, that is what I'm starting off with. I want to try to kind of start to develop and build a brand for the bookkeeping business per se. So obviously, I want to eventually get an LLC and stuff like that. But I feel like first, I want to kind of invest and find people who are going to invest in me and help me to like build my business and understand truthfully what it is. Obviously, I've watched a number of your videos. I'm kind of surprised that I'm doing Zoom. I'm kind of happy that it's you specifically that's in the call. I thought you were gonna like. My dad is big in like renovations and renovating houses and stuff like that. But obviously we're in a digital age. So there's a lot of courses and stuff like that. With that being said, but I want to necessarily talk to someone who's done it before, who kind of has been in the industry and understands how the industry works. So I made 12, 20 or 20 questions for you. Obviously, we're gonna have a conversation about it, but really, I just wanted to get some insight from you, hear your personal opinion. Obviously, watching the video is one thing, but kind of talking to you as young man to man, understanding how the game is played and how you kind of invested some of the strategies that you've used, and just, obviously just learning. Really, that's really why I set up this call. I felt that you were very informative and you were trying to help people, which obviously, as I grow my business, that's really my ultimate goal, is to help people. At the end of the day,
Mm.
obviously the money matters, but that's not necessarily what I'm looking at per se. My goal is to, out of bookkeeping, I really just want to understand how the business is ran. So currently I go to school in New York right now. So
Mm.
I've been trying my best to kind of obviously do my research. There, like delis and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we have a local deli on the corner. They're owned by some two guys who Arabian brothers. I kind of started to talk to different people and understand, like, obviously there's a difference between being a CPA and going to school for the 4 year degree and obviously being a bookkeeper, which you don't need. I was doing my research. I don't think you need any certifications. I was gonna take the bookkeeping course, the Quick Book Pro or something like that. I have another thing
Mm.
as well that I'll show you. I've been taking some notes. I was gonna, like, obviously the main software is QuickBooks, so I was gonna do that little course, get that certificate. I've been taking some notes on marketing strategies and different ways to kind of propel the business and expand it per se,
Mm-hmm.
and really just like I said, talking to you and kind of getting a ground point where to like lay it out and building my roadmap.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
But yeah,
So I guess in terms of like a program, so are you looking to start the business now and like invest in mentorship, or like I guess what are you most looking for on the call today?
really just basic information. Obviously, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Basic information. Obviously, like I said, I'm young. I'm just getting into it, but just to understand some keys. Like I said, I have some questions that I can ask you that I wrote down as well. But really, just like base knowledge. How do you not really feel? Because I mean, in business, your feelings don't necessarily matter, but kind of like what's your take and your aspects per se on life in general and on the bookkeeping side of things, accounting. Like, what is some of the strategies that you use per se that you teach? Obviously, you have a course and you have a mentorship, which I was gonna talk to you as well about that, trying to see if I could get in there. I
Mm.
see that you do different payment plans. I don't have not a necessary, but I don't have a certain income as of right now, but obviously, say you
Mm.
can work. There's different payment plans. I have credit and stuff like that, so that's kind
Mm.
of further down the line. More so, just like base information on bookkeeping is it all, and just how the industry looks right now, and how is it for you?
Yeah. Okay. So, do you have your 20 questions written down someplace?
Yeah, I do. I can.
Yeah, share
I
your
can
screen. So, yeah, share your screen. Maybe we can answer them in like a different order depending.
all right, here. I'm gonna shoot these over real quick to. I'm gonna put them on a Google Doc so we can both see it, so I can share it on my iPad. I'm
Okay.
Zoom you off. I appreciate you having this call with me.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay.
Okay.
See it?
Yeah. What are the keys for successful booking business? How can I differentiate service competitive market? What are essential tools to operate our booking business effectively? I suggest to build a blunt client from scratch. Overcome challenges bookkeepers face, try to identify what's kind of common, can provide insights to effective marketing and bookkeeping. What are the key factors organization considers, what we consider, how you recommend services to ensure profitability, effective ways in accounting
specialized or niche. What are some effective methods for managing client relationship? Is updated on changing tax law regulation, of course, this is for bookkeeping business, make sure your success stories based on your experience. What are the biggest mistakes you see needed for making? How did you recommend balancing the workload and time effectively or certification, publication, beneficial? Let's answer number 16 first. So specific certifications. I mean, if you get the QuickBooks Pro Advisor, um, I it's not a make or break, but it can be helpful in terms of like getting like free leads. So I do like the QuickBooks certification. You get like the regular one and you get the advanced one as well. Um, Next one would probably, and don't think you have to get every single word written down so I can give you a recording of the call
Mhm.
afterwards. Yeah. So other certifications, like if you can get your college degree, that's a good one as well. You have the internship as well, correct?
Yeah, I have an internship. I was gonna, but it's for project management. Obviously you probably know a little bit about that, like
Yeah.
marketing analysis. Yeah, yeah. So that's where the internship is. But I was gonna
Okay.
ask you that as well. Do you think I should look to my grandma was saying like apply at like H&R Block and try to find like um, bookkeeping obviously interns, but I was going to necessarily try to start the business because obviously more so than anything, I obviously know that you don't need any specific certifications. It's really like building, establishing relationships and networking and leveraging your brand more than anything. But you obviously have to know the information too, with that being hand in hand. But um,
Yeah. So do you know how to do bookkeeping as a skill set?
Yes, like basic, but
Okay.
basic knowledge, like even using QuickBooks, like finance or assets, liabilities, putting them in the right categories. I want to sharpen my knowledge on it, like more than even it is now. But for the basic knowledge, yes.
Okay. So two things. So in terms of certification qualifications, if you have the skill set, that's really important too. Plus, if you one way that like our students in our program, if they're like newer to the field, can kind of like adapt faster and have more credibility, is that they actually partner with other students that have more credibility. So like you can take a sales call with someone who already has like 20, 25 years of experience, and then basically you guys can either split the contract or you give them like a percentage or even like just a commission off of doing the call with you. So I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be your credibility as long as you have the skill set, you get the relationship, and then you know other people that if for example someone says like you need references, if you have people that can at least give like a character reference or someone you've done like a internship for, that's all that really matters. Uh, how do you handle situations where clients have complex financial needs or issues? It really depends. When you say like complex financial needs, you're talking about like if they need like help with like taxes, or you're talking about like what's the
Yeah,
scope of
once
services?
it kind of expands outside of just the simple bookkeeping for them. Like obviously they need
Yeah.
financial advisors and stuff like that. But like I said, you're not a CPA. It's not necessarily a keeper. It's not a CPA. So I know you don't have to do that. But obviously, there's going to be situations where clients ask for other than because it's a balance. So you kind of
Yeah.
working with the numbers. You're trying to make their business more profitable at the end of the day. So they're going to want somewhat of advice. And obviously, you know a lot about you're pretty much not you know as much about them as their business, but you know as far as numbers per se, you know about as much of them as their business.
Yeah, I mean, so in terms of that, 17, usually someone's going to have a tax account if they're already having significant revenue in their business. Usually, that's not all the time. In some cases, like their tax accountant could die. In some
Mhm.
cases, they're going to have like a financial advisor. If for whatever reason, like maybe there's a service you don't offer, having a good network of people who you can like refer the clients to is generally pretty good as well. And then over time, I mean, you just got to keep improving your skill set so you can help people out in like a lot more ways. So like, first maybe start with bookkeeping. Then maybe you start understanding like, trends and analysis, and you can start adding that as a service where it's like CFO services. Then maybe if you want, you can even add in like tax planning or tax prep. I don't like tax prep as much. I like tax planning because all you have to do is just know like the tax code, which actually slides into one of your other questions where you said number 12, how do you stay updated on changes in tax laws and regulations? I mean, you can do it a couple different ways. Like the tax code as a whole, doesn't change that much year to year. Within each code, like there can be changes. For example, a couple of years ago for a 179, you could
Mhm.
actually have, if you have like a vehicle strictly for your business, you can use accelerated depreciation to write off the entire like value of the car with the new number one. The next year it actually shifted to like 80%. Usually you can go and just like look at like financial news outlets and they will tell you at least like some of like the main ones that are going. But also right before you're going to even recommend something for like one of your clients, you should probably look it up inside the tax code itself in order to make sure like, is this the most up-to-date information? Has something changed? Because you don't want to really recommend them to do something and like maybe it's changed. One way that you can actually do this is you can go inside, like go get the tax code itself, basically download it into a PDF, upload it to like, we'll say for example, like a chat GT. And then what you can do is whenever you have like a tax question or something that you want to try and do, you can ask GPT, where is this inside the tax code? And it'll give you like, okay, hey, this is a code number 1 or 2 or 3. You go look it up and read it yourself. So it acts like as almost like a database. It's a little bit faster for you to do it. Uh, Same thing with regulation, same thing. Does that kind of make sense for
Yeah,
question 12?
definitely.
What are the key statutes organizations consider when collecting? Can you provide insight into effective marketing strategies? How do I suggest to build a client base? So it seems like question 6, question 4 are pretty similar.
Hmm.
How do you suggest to build a client base from scratch? Number 6, how can you provide insights for effective marketing? Let's talk about 5 first. So what are some common challenges faced by bookkeepers in attracting high-ticket clients and how can they overcome? Most times it is you're seen as a commodity, which means like a lot of bookkeepers will do stuff like Upwork or Bark.com or just like they're generally like some sort of like directory type of lead gen system where a client comes, it sees like a list of like 20 to 40 like bookkeepers or accountants. They then call up out of those 20, maybe like 5 to 10, and it's very hard to charge a high price when there's 10 other guys that might be pricing very low and they're kind of competing against. They don't have much price control, right? So you do that by really building a relationship and building a brand with people. One thing that you're going to have over a lot of other people is like, you might not be afraid to be on camera or write content, right? That's how you're going to like differentiate yourself like that. A lot of this actually kind of goes in question 2, how to differentiate your services in competitive market. If you have a brand, if you can communicate your values, if people can see your personality, if people can see like you've helped the people out, they're going to move towards you a lot more consistently. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I am actually on my notes over here. I was my 3 things that I was. It was 3. It was called the big 3. How can I bring
Mm-hmm.
value to your business? How can I differentiate from obviously competitors, and how can I save the organization money? Obviously, that's one of the biggest things is saving money. A lot of people don't realize that with bookkeeping, especially at the end of the year with not filing. So many people don't realize that how essential keeping their books is. They don't do it at the end of the year. I feel like a lot of people lose money with taxes and stuff like that because of per se they're not obviously filing their information and just putting things in the right places and understanding how the
Yeah,
numbers work.
yeah. So that's one. Another way you can differentiate yourself, so step number 2 would be to have like a wider range of experience. Like a lot of bookkeepers, like they only worked in either one industry or they don't really understand business. They just understand bookkeeping. So I mean, it sounds like you've had kind of a wide scope of different businesses you've ran.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's going to set you apart. For example, one of my students, he does a lot of stuff with like e-commerce businesses because he likes e-commerce. Like he had his own e-commerce store, so we can talk about like different like news events that happens in the e-commerce space. He talks about different types of advertising strategies. He talks about different ways you can go get products. He just likes e-commerce, so he's able to talk about it in a way that most of his competition just can't do. Which That's why some people like doing niches. I don't mind doing niches. Actually, that slides in one of the other questions. Number 10, it is important to specialize in a particular industry or niche. In the beginning, not necessarily, because you don't really know exactly who you like working with and like what kind of business owners respond the best to you. I
Mhm.
probably choose like 3 or 4 niches, and then based on those like 3 to 4 niches, um, then you can start identifying like which 1 to 2 you like working with. Then eventually you can niche down if you want to. Niching down can also be good because then each one of your clients is pretty much the same, and you can start to like productize your service. So your service becomes very, very streamlined. Because like, okay, so they come in day number one, and you know that out of 10 of the businesses that are in this niche, like 9 of them are gonna have this issue. And then so you can just literally like just set up your onboarding, set up your whole like service to basically be the same every single time a person comes through. Versus if it's like maybe a construction company one time, then it's like a nonprofit, then it's like an e-commerce company, it's a painter. You're always kind of like shifting, which I mean it depends on the personality. And if you like doing the work versus you want to like make a lot of money, right? They're not necessarily mutually exclusive, but they are a little bit different. Um, key factors organizations consider when selecting a bookkeeping provider. That's very similar to the question number 2, the differentiation, right? So it's can they get along with you? Do they respect you? Can you at least seem like you do the work? How do you answer questions? If you don't know something, do you let them know that ahead of time? If you don't know something, do you at least know where to go find the answer? Are you hungry? Are you up and coming? Will you be with them for a long time, or are you just kind of like a fly-by-night kind of person?
Mhm.
How do you recommend pricing bookkeeping services to ensure profitability? Question number 8. We give people in our mentorship program like a pricing calculator so that you know exactly what to charge. Um, for example, we had a student today. She had a person with like 3 different clients. Um, the person came with 3 different businesses. So at the end of the day, when we we're like pricing it out, it was anywhere between she could charge between about $3,700 a month or $4,600 per month, give or take a couple of different factors. But we were able to pinpoint that down within about like 5 minutes. Um, there's a lot of different factors, right? So there's a lot of transactions. They need a little bit of AR. They need some invoicing. Um, yeah, so it can really vary depending on like the business that you're dealing with. Um, if you don't have a pricing calculator, you can do an hourly method or you can do it flat rate. Like I wouldn't do hourly in the beginning, like if I didn't have to, because I have calculators and I have tools, but if you don't have anything, going hourly for your first client's not terrible. Uh, you know what I mean? Like you get your first client, you make some money, then you go and invest in something like our program or whatever, and then do that. But pricing's kind of weird too because it's like it's not just about the price that your calculator or price that you want to charge. It's also like your ability to explain the value in relation to that price. Like if you notice with that girl with the woman, I said like between 3,700 and 4,600. The difference between 3,700 and 4,600 is not necessarily gonna be the work. It's gonna be, you know, her confidence level, how does she view money, the other person's view on money, and how does the other person feel about her service. So we can drive those 4 things up on our consultation call. It's easier to get 4,600. The minimum she can charge for that work is about 3,700 before it just isn't really worth the time.
Mhm.
What are the most effective ways to network within the accounting and bookkeeping industry? Okay, so that actually goes very similar to when the other question where you said like what happens if there's complex needs, right? So you have to have a network of people who you can maybe like refer to, like maybe you have like a network of lawyers, financial advisors, tax accountants, other bookkeepers. Really looking for like what other professional services are there so that when a client maybe needs something extra, they can like you can send that client to them and they can send clients to you. I like doing 15-minute phone calls. You can use a lot of different like marketing channels. The two easiest marketing channels to build relationships and partnerships are LinkedIn, and then you can do emails. Emailing is tough because it's really hard to get the number of emails. It's hard to make a good template. Um, there's a lot of complexity with email, but if you can do email well, it can scale really far. LinkedIn is a little bit simpler because I mean, you just search in the title of the person and see if they want to do like a referral partnership with you. Most professional business owners professional services business owners. That's like a lawyer, financial advisor, CPA, tax pro, etc. They like doing referrals because that's just how they were truly brought up when they were like more old school. So they're more open to doing referral conversations because that's how they get their clients. So can you highlight on the questions we've answered? So can you highlight question 10, question, yeah, I know I'm giving you a lot of information, but I want to make sure I hit all the questions.
All right, for sure. 2, 5.
Yeah, 2, 5. We've done, I
8.
believe we've done 7.
Mm, We
Yeah,
did
we've
8,
done
correct?
8. Yeah,
9. Did we do
yeah.
9? Yeah, we
We
did 9.
did a second ago, yeah.
Yeah, we did 9. 16,
I suggested bill, yeah, 16.
18, or 17.
Yeah. Um, okay, so let's scroll down a little bit. I want to see like 17, 18, 19. I want to see what those questions are. Okay, fetch efficient. Yeah, in step number 18, we cover that in our program. In our program, we teach like bookkeeping from like scratch for people like maybe they have like some skill sets in like bookkeeping, but they want to really become better at like QuickBooks, bookkeeping, and accounting. So we really help you guys like work with that. So yeah, we definitely can help you like set that up. And like when you get like if you get a client that's like just a little bit more advanced than like your current skill set, I just have you sit down with the controller from my accounting firm, and she basically like outlines a strategy of like how to do this like in the most efficient way possible. So yes, we definitely provide guidance on that. Um, Number 19, what are some key metrics or indicators to track and measure the success of growth of a bookkeeping business? Okay, that's a good one. So when I'm doing this, I'm looking at um depending on what sources. Okay, so let's assume just like if you're, I'll give you a couple metrics for marketing from social media. So let's say like how many calls do you book? After that is how many calls show up on the calendar. After that is how many calls close. Those three are the most important when it comes to like before someone's like start working with you. Another metric that you need to have, like once you start having clients, you have to see how many days it takes from when you present your invoice or present your price before they like give you pay you money or they like pay or they fill out your engagement letter. Okay, that time frame is important because like sometimes people like they'll, for example, I had a student named Audrey and she came on a call. She's doing about 25 grand a month right now. Now she was like, okay, I just saw I gave this person a price a little bit higher than what the person was expecting. It's been 1 day since I sent the invoice. He hasn't paid it yet. And then a lot of people will be like, oh my gosh, it was higher than what I expected. He hasn't paid the invoice, but he opened it. But she has a metric that we track, which is from when you say your price on average to when someone like actually pays and signs the engagement letter, what's that time frame? For her, it's 7 days. So she's not worried about it because we know we have 6 more days before it's unusual, right? So that's another metric to track. Another metric you track when you're working is how long does it take from when the person signs up to when most of your cleanups are done on average. And the reason why it's important is because it helps you get accuracy on like predicting and telling the client like what to expect as far as like when their cleanup should be completed. Another metric you should track as well is churn rate, CHURN, churn rate. That is what percentage of the people sign up with you and like what percentage will fall off and not work with you. Once you have that number, you can also see like what is your average lifetime, your average client lifetime. That's how many days or how many months or how many weeks does a person stay with you before they churn out. Another one is what is your average lifetime value of a client? That's how much money does a person pay you on average while they're still working with you. And at that point, like you should have a six-figure business with that set of KPIs already. Um, if you want to keep expanding a little more, you can start doing like paid advertising, right? So for paid advertising, it's like what is your cost per lead? What is your cost per call? What's your cost per acquisition? Acquisition is like your cost per client. They call it a CPA in marketing. Um, that's going to vary depending on what service you're offering and like the price points. Um, and we can talk about that in the future. But that's another metric that's really important, right? Because then what you can do, if you, for example, let's say that you're doing a service like a tax planning type of service, or let's say that you're offering cleanups, and you know that your average cleanup will pay you about, we'll say, $4,000. And this is just a rough number. I'm just giving you a number just for sake of example. Let's say that you know that in order for you to get one client using paid advertising, it costs you $1,000, right? That means that if you wanted to make 40,000 in a year, you would know that you have to invest $10,000, right? Because that's 10 clients at $4,000 is 40,000. So it means you put in 1,000 times 10, that's $10,000. So the point of that is to say that it makes your business more predictable when you start paying for ads because you can spend in accordance to how many clients you want. Now, it's in quotation marks risky when someone's starting because most people don't have a lot of spare money to kind of just like let it go up in flames. But if you either do, or let's say if you have like, access to like business credit, then you can take those like kind of calculated risks to grow. And that's also why I say like, once you're making a good amount of money in your business, you can reinvest it. I'll use business credit if I'm going to advertise something because I just know my returns and I've done it for a long enough time where it doesn't really affect me. It doesn't really matter. But if someone doesn't have those and like you're doing advertising for the first time, you probably want to like reinvest some money that you've gotten from your existing clients, then do that. But yeah, make sure you have good credit as well.
Course. My credit just dropped actually. That is terrible because I think it's over 100. My credit was like I'm kind of sad. It was like a 7, like right
Okay.
690. That's decent. I mean, I only have one credit card. I'm 19.
Okay.
I've had it for like a year now, but I'm planning to get another one. Obviously, either if I bring some more income in, or obviously if this business gets rolling, then I'll use that to open up another credit card and then probably pay it off and just obviously having two credit cards to help my score should
I
have
mean,
been better.
there's a couple different ways you can do that. So in order to increase your credit, you can get what's called a trade line.
A trade.
That's Yeah, you can get a trade line, and plus also, do your parents have good credit?
Yeah.
You can
You
actually
can
have them put,
go
yeah,
ahead.
you can actually have them call like their bank and put you as like, can't remember if it's an authorized either user authorized signer.
Is it like
Yep.
piggybacking? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
But you
I mean
said
that can
what was the first thing you said before that one?
trade line.
Okay, trade lines. I think I've heard of that as well.
Yeah, you can piggyback. Piggybacking is really good way, especially if they have like good credit, because then you don't have to do anything. You're actually utilizing their credit history as well as their on-time payments, and it just keeps rolling.
Okay.
Um, so that's a really easy way to kind of get your credit back. I mean, it'll probably take you 3 to 6 months to get back in the 700s. Um, Make sure if you keep your credit cards below 30% utilization, that helps you out as well. Um, that's also why I like using a business credit card because if you hold a balance on a business credit card, it does not affect your personal credit profile the same way it does if you hold a balance on like a personal credit card,
Yeah.
right? Um, in terms of business credit cards, we can go to like Chase Bank. Um, you could actually, if you have like a parent like a good credit score, you can actually have them go and open and apply for like the credit card with you. And that way, what you do is if you get like one of those with like a Chase Inc. Business one, it'll give you 0% APR for 12 months. It means if you transfer the balance from your existing credit card over to this one with 0% APR, it's not charging you interest 12 months, and you can hold a balance on that card without it actually dragging down your credit score even more.
Okay.
So
I'm definitely.
therefore, so if you transfer the balance off your personal credit onto the business credit card, your score starts to rise back up, and if you have the piggybacking strategy, you're good. Um, You can also dispute certain, not, when I say like dispute, like you can call the companies to see if they will, like, let's say for example, you went to the hospital and you didn't feel like paying like the hospital bill because like maybe it was a lot of money, you just didn't want to do it. You can do two things. Number one, you call the hospital bill to see if they'll reduce it. You can also call the hospital to see like if they'll remove it off your credit report. In a lot of cases they won't, but you can always call. Another thing you can do is see if they'll let you do a payment plan for that. Right. The reason why it's important is because if it's a payment plan, you're making payments, they're not going to report it to the credit bureau that you have not paid them the full amount. But if you don't make any payments to that thing, they then will either send it to collections or they send it to some kind of agency that marks down on your credit. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I
definitely.
know we're going deep into credit and stuff, but it's important, I mean, like,
Definitely leveraging your credit. I feel like a lot of people, that's a part of financial literacy. Like,
yeah,
a lot of people does not understand that in America. Like, it's a very big part of the game, especially having a business and leveraging your business.
yeah. What's your address? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I mean, because dude, think about it like this, man. If you can get really good at a business model, and you have a business credit card that will give you, we'll say, if you can get like 25 grand on like a business credit card, if your marketing process is strong enough, if you can just 2x your money, you essentially can take the money from the business card, pay back the business card, and now you've just created a spare, we'll say like $26,000, right? So you got $26,000 from the credit card company. You basically won and made, what is that, $52,000? You pay back the original 26, now you're left 26. You throw it inside of like either your investment account, maybe put it like right now money markets are paying really well, or you just put it inside S&P. Um, you could put it inside the S&P, or you could open what's called a Roth IRA. That's not going to be taxable. There's certain rules around it, but it's not taxable. So you just take the money you got from the business, you throw it into your Roth IRA, you put in something. It doesn't even have to be like that big of a thing, but now you're $26,000. That's basically making 8% per year on average. And they just let us sit there for 20 years and just keep doing that same process.
Money is growing with the inflation.
Yeah.
Obviously, how do you feel about the U.S. dollar drop? Inflation.
Uh, it's whatever. I mean, as long as you have an investment vehicle where it's at least beating inflation, I mean that's really the biggest thing,
Do you have a
right?
hedge
That's why
fund?
it's like, do I have a hedge fund?
Yeah, that's like family, right?
Um, Even taking a step back, so when you say hedge fund, because like a hedge fund can generally be like a company that does that. Are you talking like a family office?
Kind of in a way. I have a friend who's from Africa. His brother has a clothing company, and I think they
Nice.
started a hedge fund. He was trying to kind of explain to me what it is, but we didn't get deep into it. But just
Yeah.
I was just learning, trying to obviously, like I said before, just trying to learn different ways, leveraging credit, financial literacy. But he was just kind of introducing the thought to me. I don't know too much about it, and obviously, I'm trying to still build knowledge around everything. But yeah,
Yeah. Like maybe he was saying like a trust fund of some sort, right? That you can put stuff in a trust. But yeah, it really depends, man. When it comes to inflation stuff, um, I'm not the best person to talk about for that because I can always just like sell more things to kind
yeah,
of beat that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, for a lot of people where it's like maybe they have like a either a salary or some sort of like fixed income, like they're like a job or something. It's really I think hurting a lot of people. For someone like myself, it kind of is an impactor, but not really. Because I can just so like we kind of talk about the income, right? I can predict, okay, if I want to go make an extra $10,000, I know that all I have to do is just go spend $3,000 more in ads, and then you can buy what you want.
That makes
So,
sense.
which is also why you build a business, right? Because you can kind of control your income to a certain degree. Like
Mhm.
you're never gonna 100% be in control because like all your clients can go out of business. It's unlikely that like if you have 17 clients, all 17 are gonna go out of business the same day. Um, but you know, what's question 20?
Um, how do you suggest staying motivated and resilient during the ups and downs of entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship in this industry.
Um, I don't know. You have to journal, write about what you're thankful for every single day. Um, kind of write about what you're thankful for every single day. Um, I don't know. You got to go into discipline. You know, you're not gonna like this stuff most days.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like the lifestyle's amazing, right? I got to go walk with my mom. Um, I think it's for like an hour yesterday during like the middle of the day. And it's just like that's some stuff that like most people can't do. Most people are like working all the time, right? And it's just like we just got to walk around, just talk about life, how she's enjoying retirement and stuff like that. Um, we talked a little about like finances. We talked a little about like some long-term like wealth building stuff. We talked about like taxes and stuff like that. So I mean, it's like it's hard in some cases, but it's definitely worth it. Um, yeah. Um, and plus you get to travel if you want to. So I mean, if you like that, that's fun. Or if you don't like traveling, just like just working all the time, that's good too.
Definitely.
Yeah. Um, yeah. What's some more things? Balancing. What was that? Balancing workload. Did we already talk about that or no? Yeah. I
Well,
mean, number 15. Yeah. I mean, balancing the workload and managing time effectively. I mean, you're in school right now, so I mean, I would just treat you being in school the same as if you had like a 9 to 5 job, right? You do it in the time that you don't have. But I mean, at least with like college, when I was in college, I had like certain blocks throughout my days. So I'd have like a class, I had like a 2 or 3 hour break, then I had another class. So I mean, you can fit the work in those times. Do you have children?
no.
Okay. So, I mean, you have a lot more time than most of the people. Like when I was super young, I would hear people talking like, I have kids, so like I can't do this or I can't do that. And like some people are like, oh, that's just an excuse, but it's like when you have like kids, like sometimes like they
It's
just
fine.
take up so much
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
I feel like people don't really understand that concept, and I feel like I'm happy that I've got to understand certain things that I understood this far. But like time is the most valuable thing. You can't get time. I'm like that's what I've been big on, like learning, like more reading and understanding how to self-preserve and preserve time in itself. Like understanding you got to get the best out of your 24 hours, and like you said, that comes back to discipline and everything that you're doing. There has to be substance. There has to be purpose and
Mhm.
you have to be focused on what you're doing. Obviously, we all mess up and we kind of relax and get comfortable, which I believe that when you get too comfortable, like I follow like Elon Musk and kind of some of the bigger people, Jeff Bezos. I'd be like tuning into the podcast and different stuff. And one of the most significant things that I think Elon has said that has stuck with me: time when you get complacent in time, um, in comfortability, that's when you get lost. Like that's kind of when the eight ball kind of leaves you. As long as you're adapting and growing in everything that you're doing, I believe that you can stay afloat. But once you get kind of comfortable and too relaxed and not, like you said, discipline and push yourself, that's where you fall behind.
Mhm.
But
Oh yeah, that's what I forgot. And then also like get to know like why are you even starting a business? You know what I mean? Like okay, so when I started a business, I had two reasons why I wanted to like make a lot of money. Like number one, I wanted to have like super nice cars, right? 'Cause I just saw like that would look cool, you know. Um, one is nice cars. I want to be able to go out eat whenever I wanted to, right? Without having to like look at the bills and stuff. So number one, I mean, you don't have to have $1 billion in order to like get a nice car. You don't have to have like millions of dollars in the bank. Um, because a lot of different ways you can kind of even like write it off on your taxes and stuff. And like a lot of stuff a lot less expensive than you'd expect it to be. Um, so I mean, it really depends. You should know, are you like trying to like make as much money as possible? Or are you trying to get more of like something that you can do like long term? What are you are you trying to buy something? You know what I mean? Like
What is your goal at the end of the day?
yeah, 'cause
My
I
big
mean like
honestly, I really just I know it's gonna sound so cheesy, but more so than anything, I really just want to help people and understand how to run a business. I feel like that's my purpose in life, not to necessarily make a certain amount of money, which I feel like that's gonna come. Like it's a part of it. Like money is a byproduct of my work ethic, and it's like a tool. You can use it for what it's worth. Like money
yeah.
is like not to say it's like the stock market essentially, but it's like the stock market. It comes, it goes down. Like I believe that's how it is. Not to say that you shouldn't focus on money again. I believe a lot of people unlock a certain level of freedom. I don't believe that money buys happiness, but I believe that it buys things that can lead to your happiness. But I don't think it necessarily buys the happiness in yourself. I feel like that's like a deeper rooted thing with morals and principle. But definitely, really just helping people. Like I feel like that's my purpose on it. I feel like it sounds so cheesy, and I don't really get to talk about it. I mean, obviously, you understand from a business owner and a business perspective. Obviously, that is what your goal is at the end of the day, how you're bringing value and how you're helping someone else's business to obviously propel and expand your business in that. But definitely just really helping people. Like I feel like that's my goal. I feel like in the world that we live in, especially in the generation that I've been born into, we're so lost in I feel like I don't even want to say that we're selfless, but I feel like we're very selfish and we're not willing to work with each other and expand. I feel like that's why the world is going into such a cold place in the day and age that we're in. But I don't know. I really just want to help people. Like all that being said, I really feel like that's my biggest thing. Like I do want to I want to change my tax bracket, especially at early age. I want to retire my mom. I want to retire early. I have a very, I feel like good work ethic. So like I don't know, like the way I look at work is kind of different from other people. Like I pursue it more than anything. I look at it like a challenge. Like I'm being challenged. This is a puzzle, and you got to put the right pieces in to make whatever the goal you're looking for. And once you kind of put the pieces in the right place, that is what you're essentially doing, getting to the goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it depends, but I mean, you just gotta be able to remember that. 'Cause, I mean, it can get frustrating sometimes. And then like I mean, bookkeeping is a good business model because, like, sometimes in terms of like businesses, like it can be just businesses like seasonal for service-based businesses, right? So it's like there's certain months where it's so easy to get new clients, but there's certain months where it's a little bit harder, right? But as long as the recurring revenue, your recurring revenue is like consistent. It's just how much it goes up by each month can be a little bit different. So I mean, that's why like that business model is pretty good. Um, yeah, man. I mean, that's the biggest thing in terms of number four. How do I build a client base from scratch? We have like seven different marketing paths we kind of teach inside our program. So it just really depends on which one's the easiest one for kind of where you're starting at, and then from there we just like attack it from there. Next, what are some essential tools of software you need to run a booking business effectively? QuickBooks Online. You can have the accountant's version, so that's free. Get LinkedIn Sales Navigator. At least get the free trial of that. If money's super tight, you probably go and just use like Gmail for free. Um, get a paid Gmail, like a business one for like $6 a month. Um, that's a good one. Um, yeah, depending on your goal, man. Like usually what I see for a lot of our students, it's like the most they pay per month for like their business stuff is like for marketing, it's about $200 per month. Some other costs are like your LLC each year. Another one is like your business insurance. Depending on how much like insurance you get, sometimes like they'll charge about like $1,100 per year. You can split up into like a 10-month payment plan of like $100 per month or whatever. Um, yeah, so really all together, not kind of like coaching stuff, you probably need about uh, Probably $3,000 to $4,000 per year for your business.
But you shouldn't be making that after you have a good and basic clientele, 2 to 3 clients, right?
It depends. It depends. I mean, like if you're gonna have a business Gmail, right, then that's money from day number one, right?
Yeah.
QuickBooks Online is free for accountants. If you want to use a LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I think it's like $100 a month or whatever. Um, your business insurance, I mean that we can get like once you have clients. Same thing the LLC. So I mean, yeah, you usually you can liquidate the cost of your tools and stuff with money from clients.
Mhm.
So
How
I'm
did
just
you hear me?
you said how do you what?
I was about to say, how did you like? First of all, when did you first start, and when did the ball get rolling? After you, was it really just marketing? After you obviously understood how to do bookkeeping in itself, filing, filing the information. Was it just really building your client base and your networking for you? Is that how you got your ball rolling? Like for
Well,
your
I
first client, what'd you do?
yeah, I mean, it was kind of rolling. I mean, like, I was trying networking events. I was also trying flyer marketing. So, like, I would have like a stack of flyers. I like walk into different businesses. Like, you get a client here or there, which is not bad. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of business owners will respect you if you're younger and if you're like walking around like hustling, depending on where you live, right? I mean, if you don't live in a place where people respect that, of course, it's not gonna work. But I like invested like 35K my first year in business in the first 14 months. So it's like I did 6 months of just trying to do stuff like randomly on my own. And I was just doing stuff 'cause I just didn't know that you could buy courses and stuff like that. So then I just started investing in like courses. I like got like back then there wasn't a lot of like bookkeeping like business courses. Everything was like how to do like a tax firm or like how to get a job as a bookkeeper. So it wasn't like how it is today. So like I'd invest in like just random things. Like I was investing in like random sales courses, marketing courses, pricing courses, negotiation courses, networking courses, um, just random stuff to like figure this stuff out. So once I did that, and like once you kind of figure out like everything not to do, the path of what to do becomes very clear, and that's when you have like more consistency. So it took me in total about 14 months to get to like 15,000 in sales for like bookkeeping and CFO services.
How long did it take you to get your first client?
Um, I like to say it was pretty fast. It was under a month. Um,
And this was
yeah,
after you had already done all of that, all the marketing, put the 35,000 in, or this
no, no.
was
So I got like a client on my own. Like the flyer marketing was like I think the guy's paying me like $450 a month.
you said 40 to 50 bucks,
450.
450. Okay, so you did the flyer method. Obviously, you were going around here giving your business proposal, your idea, and then you met your first customer. And then obviously the networking was trying to like expand and propel the business ahead. That's why you ended up spending so much, which obviously, like you said, you found out what not to do with doing all of those things. But that was the main goal of that, was expanding your business. It wasn't to start the business in itself.
Those are one and the same.
You said they're in the
Right?
same.
Yeah, those are one and the same. Yeah. Like for example, I talk to guys like some people say like they're like, oh, I don't know if I need to invest in stuff until I have the business going. It's like in order for you to get the business going, you need to it's not like you start and then you grow. It's like it's one and the same, right? When you get to about 10,000 per month or 20,000 per month, that's when it gets a little bit different because then you have more cash to be able to grow the business in a slightly different way, right? So you can take more massive jumps once you get to a certain point. But people are like, oh, start, grow. And it's like, no, because if you start from day one, you know exactly what to do. You don't have to start, stop, start,
Yeah.
stop, start, stop. It's just I didn't know that was like an available thing. So as soon as I figured out that was available, then I would like buy one thing. I would like try like for example on the sales call, I would try a couple of the closing lines, but it either didn't work the way that I thought it would, or I didn't understand how to use it. So I buy like another course, and it'll be like, okay, well I know this. What's supposed to do with this? Then they're like fill another piece. Then I do something for like marketing. Then I do something for like negotiation. Then I do something for like mindset. So it's like it wasn't necessarily it's like you start pause, grow. It was I needed to get to a certain monthly amount in order to like cover my bills. So it was one and the same.
What would you recommend? As obviously we've had this call, we kind of chopped. You understand a little bit about me and what I'm trying to do. What would you recommend for me to do? Like after this call will be the first steps. I've kind of done basic research. I have like somewhat of a business layout plan of like how I plan to attack it. And obviously I'm gonna have to
Mhm.
leverage that and expand the business. But what would you recommend me do? Like the first thing, even just to like simply go find a customer, like going on a LinkedIn and making a business account. Like what would you recommend the first few steps be?
Mm, it really depends. I mean, like what's you said you're in New York,
Yeah, I'm in Queens right now.
you're in Queens.
Mhm.
Um,
I go to St. John's. You know St. John's or not?
yeah.
St. John's.
I mean, you could probably. It depends. I mean, do you feel comfortable taking on a client book like this and this tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, like really, I really could. I want to obviously I'm gonna do some more research and put. I just really want to make sure I know the terminology so I can put the finances in the right places inside of QuickBooks and the bookkeeping. So I'm probably gonna take that course. But yeah, I would be okay with that.
See, I mean, because the isn't the QuickBooks course like I think it's like $100 something like that. I can't remember how much it costs. It's not super expensive, but yeah, I mean, I guess in terms of like, because I would probably tell you certain things depending on like what your a mentorship program, then I would say let's go direct like your clients and go attack. If you don't have that, then probably what you could do. I mean, do you have friends that have a business?
I actually do. Like, I have a few friends who have clothing business, photography business. Yeah, like I do. I don't know
Okay.
necessarily if they do their books or if they would be willing to pay for books, which obviously is something that you need. But I have a few friends who have like small upcoming businesses.
Yeah, I mean, if it's your first one and you're just trying to help people out, I mean, you don't necessarily need to make a huge amount of money on those clients. I'd be thinking more of it's like to kind of get you from the door, right? Because then when you start going after big clients and they ask for like either references or have you done this before, you can say, yes, I've done it before. And you have like, let's say if you have like um, three or four friends you've helped out, then
Hmm.
you can definitely like use them as reference. So plus you could offer to give them a discount on your services if they refer like one or two more people to you, right? So that what they do is like maybe they have like a parent that has like a successful business, then they maybe get their dad or their mom to come to you. And from there you can really charge them a good price point.
So really just finding some business or someone per se who needs it, the service.
Well, it's more of like you get someone who you know is gonna say yes. So like let's say I mean you're young, so use your age to your advantage. Let's say you have like do you know of any let's say you have like friends. Do you know any of your friends who have parents that own a business?
Yes. Like I know a girl, my best friend that he owns like tents, like like building the big tents. Like
Yeah.
he plays pools and stuff like that. He owns a business, which my cousin I think did bookkeeping for him. And I'm not sure if
Uh-huh.
he has to keep her as of now, but
Go reach out to
definitely,
that guy. Yeah. I would literally take a list of like your phone contacts. And the challenge with like a conversation like this, sometimes you get people stuff for free and they don't really do stuff with it, but like this is what people have paid, $10,000 in one of our programs to do. So day number one, you go through all your phone, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your TikTok, whatever you have, right? You make a list of every single contact. You then see is this person a parent that owns a business, how many people own a business, and you reach out to every single one of them. Okay. And then from there, what you can do is I'm going to assume you don't have a pricing calculator because you might be going at this alone. You maybe would try and price it like we'll say like $30 per hour, because then you haven't, you could charge more, but just like most people aren't going to say no to you for $30 per hour, right? And then you say after like the first like month or first 2 months, maybe make it into like a flat rate price, and then they'd be like, okay. And then month two, let's say that took you 5 hours the first month to do it. That's $150. So now that person paying $150, and that person paying 150, and that's one paying 300, that's one paying 500. And you start going to bigger and bigger clients. Once you get to about $500 a month, if you haven't invested in a mentorship program, I just invest in a mentorship program just because it just makes it go faster. Because that pricing of $150 a month is not really enough for most people to live. I mean, I guess do you live like in a dorm, or like what are your expenses per month?
Um, really, probably food, not so much transportation. I'm planning on buying a car. I was gonna also try to start a TV mounting business when I went back home to Georgia. That's where I'm from. I was gonna try to
Uh,
start a TV mounting business, but as of right now, my overhead is really just school more than anything, and just groceries on the month, like eating every day. And
yeah,
I
so I
don't.
mean, so I wouldn't necessarily worry about like making money in the first like couple ones. Like, so I would get clients, I would get them to pay you just so you have the experience of people paying you money on a consistent basis. And then once you have that, then you start getting better and better and better. Like, because you need to like get it to a point where like your minimum client is paying you $500 a month. But if you don't have any help and you're just doing this stuff on your own, definitely I would definitely try and go the $30 per hour route. And it's just a simple, easy way to kind of like get started. That doesn't even need you don't even need any overhead for that. Like you just reach out to all the people you already know. Um, and most of those people are gonna say yes if your price is like if you're they'll probably want to pay you like a low price, but that's how we're doing the hourly thing because no one say no to $30 per hour if they actually like you. Like if it's your friends, that might be a little bit different because they might be broke as well. But it's
Yeah,
like their parents. If you go
yeah.
to their parents, they're gonna be like, yeah, I'll do $30 per hour.
Hey, hopefully you enjoyed that interview. Now, if you want some help growing your business, maybe you're either thinking about starting your business, but you just don't know what to do, or you've been trying to grow your business, and it's just not quite going the way that you wanted, or it's not growing as fast as what you hoped. Go ahead and click the link inside the description, book a call with myself to see if I can help you inside of our mentorship program. I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you on the call.